just on the final note from me today. I just want to say like about the war. It is very like upsetting and distressing. And I think any advice from me is I'm not going to say don't worry about it because that's a silly thing to say. We're all worried what could happen, but like with the news, it can affect your mental health. Watching it and seeing those scenes on the telly, and which is why I kind of for myself I limit myself. Or maybe before I go to bed, I do look at it. Maybe because I'm a night owl in the middle of the night for me. um, but yeah, I get the notifications on my phone anyway, so it's kind of I suppose that's a better way if you want the news. If you don't, just switch the telly off because it is stressing and like fingers crossed we'll all be okay. And like I'm a positive person. Like I try to be like that kind of person. Or like as you can people who listen quite often to the podcast, you see that and it's a good way to be. And even though we will like anything like getting like talking earlier, getting diagnosed with autism and Crohn's, you do think the worst. You think the worst, and at the moment we're going to think the worst about what's happening. But for fingers crossed, it doesn't go that far, and we'll be fine in a few months' time. It'll be okay, or I hope sooner than a few months' time. But these things take time. It's like a diagnosis. Let's speak in a diagnosis way. At the moment, there's been a diagnosis of war between two countries in the world, and that takes time. That takes time to heal. It takes time to. I think that's a good way of putting it. It takes time to heal from a war. Like Crohn's is a war sometimes. It takes time.
Yep.
Like Michaela says she's in a flare at the moment, but that may take time for her to get in a place where she is more better. So it's going to take time, and if it does, if it does get any worse, we do get through these things, and hopefully, it doesn't, and we don't have another war between like, like we are experiencing history at the moment. We experienced history from this ongoing pandemic, and we're going to experience history. We are experiencing history, even though it may not be our country, the country that you're in at the moment. But
Yeah.
if there is anyone in Ukraine or the fighting nations at the moment that are there listening to this podcast, if you are, I'll just say uh, like stop, like Russia, for example, or just the stop. Fighting's not the way. If anything, like fighting makes things worse. Um, um, yeah, it makes things worse. Like we all fight. There's different concepts of fighting. Like we fight for our Crohn's every day, but it's not nice. It's not. We wouldn't want to fight. We wouldn't want to do that. But um, but that's just some thoughts of me. Keep positive. Try and do the daily things you want to do, and like keep safe. I hope the ones people in Ukraine are keeping safe out there, and I hope everyone there is a good resolution at the end. But fingers crossed. But yeah, I think Michaela will agree with what I've just said.
Yeah. Can I just add like one
Yeah,
thing to that I was
yeah,
thinking about with the whole like war thing? Like, I don't know. I kind of I related to the Crohn's too, but I was kind of thinking about how like we were talking earlier about like we don't know when we're gonna get sick again with Crohn's. Like it's unpredictable. We don't know when we're gonna get better when we're sick. We don't know when we're gonna get sick when we're better. And we don't know if it's going to be mild or serious, if we're going to need surgery or just medications. But like when you have those good days, you got to take advantage of them. And I feel like it's the same with the world and potential for war and war existing. If you're obviously it's not the same if you're in Ukraine because that's a shitty situation. But if you're in other parts of the world and you have like the fear of the whole idea of nuclear war, world war, and everything like that, and things spreading. Just live like that might happen tomorrow,
Yeah,
because like you don't know. And even if this wasn't happening right now, there's always going to be some sort of a risk. I mean, did you watch like Don't Look Up, the movie
yeah.
on Netflix? Yeah, I mean, like a freaking asteroid or comet or something, whatever that was, could just hit us at any second, and we wouldn't even know that it's going to hit us until like a second before. Or there could be chaotic news, but there's other stuff that could just happen, and you can't
So
predict it. So it's like just live
unpredictable.
in the now.
Yeah, yeah. Like for me, I like Doctor Who. For most of you listening, you probably know that quite enough. But 'cause we always relate that to hobbies and with interests, and at this moment in time, we would like a doctor, like a fictional character like that, just to come alive and save everyone, or like a superhero, like from the Avengers, like you got Spider-Man. But yeah, we'd like that to happen. But yeah, it's sad, like hearing the sirens, like which hasn't been done since the World War Two. So it's the nearest thing since, but a lot of things has changed since then, and like fingers crossed that it's all going to be okay. But that's kind of nice for me. All relating to Crohn's in today's episode. It's been a really good one. Um, um, I think one of the longest ones I've done, but it's been a really good
God
one.
damn.
No, it's a good thing because we've spoken
Oh
about
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. We've spoken about autism, we've spoken about mental health, we've spoken about what's going on in the world at the moment, Crohn's disease, IBD, coronavirus. So yeah, we've had a really good range of
All over the
topics today.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm the type of person that can go on for 6 hours straight talking, and
yeah,
we don't need that. But
yeah, yeah. I'm afraid everything has to come to an end at some point.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's been a really good conversation, Michaela, and it's been a joy speaking to you today.
Yeah, totally.
In the first clip of this video, you would have seen me speaking on my podcast about the war. It was a little thought I thought I would share with you, as the actual full episode is not coming out till end of June, beginning of July time. But it was a really good talk because we touched on the war right at the end, because although it's really upsetting subject to talk about, we have to talk about these things because you see quite a lot of that on the news lately. Now, as we don't really see much really about COVID-19 on the pandemic, although at the moment, at the time I'm saying this, cases are getting quite high again. So I speak about the war, and for you got about, I think, 6 or 7 minutes of me speaking about it and talking about my thoughts, and we have to worry about these things because we do worry. But yeah, my thoughts are with Ukraine. I got my top here, and yeah, my thoughts are with all the people over there still, the ongoing war, and all the refugees trying to flee and continue to flee out of Ukraine, because like many of us, we couldn't imagine if that was us. If that was happening over here, we would have to do the same thing. But yeah, my thoughts are with everyone, and I'm sure everyone who's listening, or anyone over there in Ukraine, or anything, like I said in the podcast, that I hope you get safe and you find shelter when the sirens go. But yeah, I'm wishing everyone well, and yeah, thank you.